This guy sucks.
Excuse me? Am I supposed to be able to hear you guys?
Hey, welcome back to ScreenCrush. I'm Ryan Airy, and this is all of the Easter eggs, references, and little things you might have missed in the first trailer for Season 2 of Peacemaker. And just remember, you can listen to ScreenCrush on all your favorite podcast platforms, and join our merch store to help us out and get free stuff. Links for those are below. Now, there is a big multiversal twist at the end of this trailer, but to explain that, first I have to answer a question that a lot of you have been throwing out on our Discord server. Is this show part of the new DC universe? And the answer is yes. Kind of. Remember, back in 2013, DC launched their own interconnected universe with Man of Steel, and they called it the DC Extended Universe, or the DCEU. Now, the first few films in that series set out to meet Zack Snyder's dark tone, but after the chilly reception of Batman v Superman and Suicide Squad, Warner Brothers got cold feet and tried to switch to a more lighthearted tone. So in the past few years, we've had a weird mishmash of different DC films, from the comedy of Shazam or the self-seriousness of Black Adam to whatever Wonder Woman 1984 was. And let's face it, the whole thing peaked at the glorious moment when an octopus played drums in Aquaman. James Gunn's The Suicide Squad struck a balance between these films. It's a dark film, but has a sense of humor. Warner Brothers liked the movie so much, they tapped Gunn to helm a new TV spin-off about Peacemaker, and then hired him and his producing partner Peter Safran to essentially reboot their connected universe as the DCU. So this is an all-new franchise with an all-new Superman and Batman, and Jason Momoa has even been recast as Lobo in the film Supergirl. But it gets confusing because some actors from the DCEU will play the same roles in the new DCU. For instance, Viola Davis is returning as Amanda Waller along with the rest of the cast from Peacemaker.
So wait, is this part of the DCU or not?
Well, James Gunn's first DCU project, Creature Commandos, mentioned events from the Suicide Squad.
It's one of the few soldiers still alive from Project Starfish in Corto Maltese.
So the short answer is, in this new DC universe with the new Superman, if they specifically mention something that happened in the Suicide Squad or in Peacemaker, then well, it's canon to this universe. So for instance, I'm betting that everything in Season 1 is canon except for the Justice League cameo at the end of the film. Basically, Gunn just wants us to relax, not worry about continuity, and enjoy these stories one at a time.
That seems like a refreshing change of pace.
Exactly. Now, for a quick recap. In the Suicide Squad, Peacemaker was part of a mission with other former supervillains to neutralize an alien starfish. He was under orders to cover up the US's involvement, so he kills his commander, Rick Flag Jr., to keep the government secrets.
Peacemaker. What a joke.
Now, when the show picks up, he is reeling from guilt over this murder, and he spends his arc of the story overcoming his pain and learning to make friends and work with others. He is part of a government team that is trying to stop a race of body-snatching aliens from taking control of Earth. The team consists of Amanda Waller's daughter, Leota Adebayo, Harcourt, Diebeard, aka John Economos, and Myrn, who turns out to be an alien in disguise looking to bring down his own people.
You're an alien in disguise. Oh, yes, you are.
They're joined by the anti-hero Vigilante, a neighbor of Peacemaker's who racks up a high body count, and of course, Eagly.
Babe, I just saw an eagle hug a human.
So the whole arc of this show is about learning to trust and open up with other people. Peacemaker processes deep trauma from his racist dad raising him to be a living weapon, Leota steps out of her mother's shadow, Harcourt opens up, and John admits that he dyes his beard.
Fine, I dye my beard, all right? We all know it.
But in the end, they learn that the aliens are actually benevolent. They want to save humanity from itself. But Peacemaker still decides to kill their only food source to protect his friends. The show ends with the alien leader living with them as an insect inside a jar. Peacemaker Season 1 works so well because James Gunn always puts character first. All of these people have real flaws and problems that on some level we can all relate to.
Oh, did your daddy teach you how to murder people too, person?
Kind of, but I'm not allowed to talk about it. But I do also have some gross habits that I've struggled to beat. Like you guys know, I talk about it all the time here on the channel. You've probably seen my facial tic where I want to squish my eyes or clench my jaw, and I used to nervous eat all the time. And I'm sure you guys have your own bad oral fixation habits that you'd like to change. Now, I used to think that it was impossible to quit all of those bad habits, and it turns out I was right. Because I couldn't just quit, I had to replace. And that is where Fume comes in. No vapor, no nicotine, just natural flavored air that actually satisfies. No stress, no withdrawals, just a simple swap. Guys, Fume is an award-winning flavored air device that draws flavor into your mouth and not into your lungs. It is a great way to satisfy my oral fixation habit with non-toxic flavors, and it is safe to use anywhere. So I want to show you guys, there is no vapor at all in here. This does not need batteries, and you don't have to charge it. It just has these flavor-based cores that you can personalize with your favorite flavors, like crisp mint or my favorite, orange vanilla. It tastes like an orange dreamsicle, one of my favorites from when I was a kid. Also, it looks cool. I love how it's weighted, I love the wood design, and it feels just premium in your hand. And it's also a great fidget tool that makes this incredibly satisfying sound. It is completely safe, and they continuously invest in third-party studies to ensure the safety of their products, and it is backed by doctors here in the United States. Physiology shows stopping a bad habit cold turkey is really hard on your brain, so Fume works to replace your hand-to-mouth fixation, calming nervous tension through fidgeting, and distracting you from your bad habit with this delicious flavor. Fume has already helped more than 500,000 people build better habits. So try Fume today, and if you order the Journey Pack now using our code ScreenCrush, you'll get a free Fume topper, an awesome accessory to level up your experience. Go to tryfume.com/ScreenCrush or scan the QR code on screen right now. Now, back to what I was saying. And that takes us to the trailer, so let's break this baby down. The song in the trailer is Foxy Shazam's Oh Lord, and they had another song in season 1, Welcome to the Church of Rock and Roll. Now, like a lot of James Gunn projects, Peacemaker centers around music that is personal to the characters. In Chris's case, it's 1980s hair metal ballads. Now, Leota is driving him to a job interview with the new Justice League. Notice it's at Crank's Toys. Now, this is a reference to the Arkham games. It was Bane's hideout in the game Arkham City, and it's also a reference to Cosmo Crank, aka the toy maker from the Batman TV show. Outside, notice that we see butterflies, like the butterfly aliens that were the villains last season. And we also see a spray-painted peace sign, because you know, Peacemaker. And this reads RemDog XOX, which is an acronym that means that's your mom. In the car, she says,
"They're gonna be doing backflips to get you to join."
And I think this is where the show is getting a little meta on us. Remember, the old Peacemaker show technically took place in another universe, which is why the old Justice League appeared at the end of that show. But this new show takes place in a universe that happens to be almost exactly like the universe in the first season, except there was no Justice League at the end. So this is like Leota telling him that he is auditioning for the DCU, kind of like Deadpool auditioning for the MCU at the start of Deadpool and Wolverine, except now Chris is trying to join this new Justice League.
Wait, what do you mean, new Justice League? What's that again?
Or remember, this is a new universe, so that scene last season with Jason Momoa and the others technically didn't happen anymore. Instead, Chris is auditioning to join Justice League International, which is headed up by Max Lord. So this is like our first definitive clean break with the old DCEU. In Wonder Woman 1984, Max Lord was played by Pedro Pascal, but now he has been recast with Sean Gunn, James's brother. He worked with his brother on Guardians of the Galaxy as Rocket Stand-In and as Kraglin, who joins the team in Guardians 2. And now he plays a total of 4 roles in the new DCU: G.I. Robot, Weasel, Max Lord, and Calendar Man. Although Calendar Man is a side character in the Suicide Squad, so they might just say that his character doesn't count. So this version of the Justice League that is run by Max Lord is from the Justice League International comics from the late 80s, early 90s. The other people interviewing him are Guy Gardner, played by Nathan Fillion, who has appeared in every James Gunn film. In the Suicide Squad, remember, he played TDK. And now here he is playing one of the all-time greatest a-holes ever from the comics, Guy Gardner. Now, Guy Gardner was a Green Lantern, but he was arrogant and cocky and quick to violence. In the late 80s Justice League comics, Batman once goaded him into dropping down his shield so he could knock him out with one punch. Now, eventually, Gardner gets a yellow ring in the comics and stops being an official Green Lantern, but he is always an asshole. And this is Kendra Saunders, aka Hawkgirl, played by Isabella Merced. After she was in the smash hit Madam Web last year, her career has really skyrocketed. She's also Dina in The Last of Us, and both her and Gardner are appearing in Superman. Now, Hawkgirl has had many iterations over the years, including a version from planet Thanagar, but this one is a reincarnation of an Egyptian princess named Chiara. Now, Kendra is a young woman from Earth who tried to commit suicide, and this Egyptian soul took control of her body. So, this ancient soul controls her body, but it has Kendra's memories, and James Gunn has confirmed that her wings are organic. Now, notice both their uniforms look the same, with JL for Justice League on their chest, and this shows that they are a homogenized corporate product, as opposed to, say, Superman and Peacemaker, whose uniforms were made by their parents. I think Gunn is making a meta commentary here on how superheroes are owned and controlled by giant corporations. He is introducing heroes that go against what Disney and Warner Brothers have been putting out so far. Now, we do see a few outdated toys in the store, like hula hoops and lawn bowling, but I especially like this empty comic book rack, because you kids don't buy comics anymore. You should buy comics. Then they do a funny bit where Chris can hear them talk shit.
I have a variety of helmets.
This guy sucks.
And again, look at the staging here. The corporations are looming over him in the shadows, and they don't even care if he can hear them talking shit about him. This is also very much set up like the musical Chorus Line, where actors speak to an unseen director on a god mic and plead to be in his show. Now, in the car, Adebayo reminds us that Peacemaker and the others saved the world last season.
We saved the world.
but they did that in the shadows so no one cares. In this world, the best way to sell a superhero is for them to do things front and center in public. So when the Justice League look at Peacemaker and the others, they still see a group of losers. And then we check in with where the 11th Street Kids are now. Remember, that's the nickname they gave themselves after a song by Hanoi Rocks. We see Adrian, aka Vigilante, still working his old job at Fennel Fields. John's beard is actually more evenly dyed now after Chris gave him endless crap for it last season.
Chimpanzees have 4 times the strength of human beings, so they're both strong.
Yeah, and we're supposed to get that just by looking at this dye beard?
Leota is now working for a fast food place called Extra Spicy, and her wife is working at Jitters. That is the coffee shop that Barry Allen and the others frequent on the show The Flash.
So is the Flash in this universe along with...
No, this universe is separate from the CW universe. This is just an Easter egg. And Harcourt is still, of course, dealing with her own issues, getting into bar fights, and being diagnosed with toxic masculinity. She's played by Jennifer Holland, who had one of my favorite bit parts in Guardians 3. Now, the last time we saw John Economos was in the show Creature Commandos, where he was recovering from the broken leg that he got in Peacemaker Season 1. But this season, it seems like he's been fired from his job at Argus along with the rest of the team. We see him as the guy in the chair, but he's working in like some sort of shed, almost like all of the 11th Street Kids have taken their efforts off the grid. Also, notice this 1980s McDonald's toy cheeseburger that transforms into a robot.
Wait, slow down. What's Argus?
Argus stands for Advanced Research Group Uniting Superhumans. This was the Shadow Ops organization that Amanda Waller used to form Suicide Squad. But after her daughter exposed them in Season 1, she turned to using non-humans in the show Creature Commandos. But now, the former leader of the Creature Commandos, Rick Flag Sr., has been promoted to head of the agency. He is played by Frank Grillo, who also voiced the character in animation. But the reason he doesn't have white hair in this show is because of scheduling conflicts and lack of wigs. He ended Creature Commandos getting beaten nearly to death by Clayface, who is also getting his own DCU film soon, written and directed by the great Mike Flanagan. Now, Flag has a huge grudge against Peacemaker because he killed his son in Corto Maltese in the movie The Suicide Squad. So all through this trailer, we see him hunting down Chris and the other 11th Street Kids. The hilarious Tim Meadows heads up one of these squads, playing a character named Langston Fleury, who is a new character created for the show. He calls one of the soldiers Pony Boy, the name of a character from The Outsiders, and he calls this one Encino Man, named after the 90s Pauly Shore movie, which starred 2 Academy Award winners, Brendan Fraser and Ke Huy Quan. Then we see Peacemaker and Eagly being chased away from his dad's house. Now remember, his dad was the racist supervillain White Dragon, who forced Chris to kill his brother in a boy fight in a flashback in Season 1. Now his dad also died in Season 1, but as we see in this trailer, his legacy is still haunting his son. And here, we see the return of the character's best show, Eagly. And then we get a few flashes of good old R-rated violence, stabbing out this guy's eye, in a trailer that is apparently brought to you by Bud Light. Now, later in the trailer, we see Flag bust into this cabin, probably looking for Peacemaker. But I'm betting all he finds is Chris's helmet, because this is the same sonic boom that we saw the helmet create in Season 1. Here, Leota has a shirt on that reads Brownie, and we think this is a reference to a 1920s film of the same name about a dog named Brownie. Gunn's love for animals is well documented, with Guardians 3 earning accolades from PETA, and of course, he also put Crypto in Superman. And then we get this cryptic shot of a Native American summoning spirits. So James Gunn posted a BTS photo of this character in front of a fire a few weeks back. And the only prominent Native American DC character that I can think of is Apache Chief. He was from the cartoon The Super Friends, and his only power was to grow, so I'm guessing this is probably a new character created for this show. And then we get to the weird stuff. Chris is inside his dad's pocket dimension. Remember, this was a hidden base and laboratory that we saw in Season 1 that he keeps inside a closet inside his house. And this has all of Peacemaker's weapons and gear. And then Chris finds a secret door that brings him into another universe.
Wait, how is that possible?
Well, it's a pocket dimension, so it would make sense if it connected to other universes. But in this new universe, apparently Chris has a great life. We know this is his fancy study because there are posters for bands he likes. The Scorpions, The Cruel Intentions, and Hanoi Rocks. And we also see on the wall back here that he received a key to the city and a bust of Chris where he's wearing a gold chain here. But we also see that some things just aren't right. There's a mask on the wall of the White Dragon, implying that in this universe he and his dad still get along. And here we see a Spartan helmet, showing us how in this universe Chris seems to value strength above all. Now, we do have some theories on why things worked out so much better for Chris in this universe. Primarily, maybe here his brother never died. Then he would never resent his dad, and they all could have become rich supervillains together. But the ultimate sign of wealth and opulence is here. One of those sweet globes that opens up into a bar. Now that's the life. And then the Chris from this alternate universe gets the drop on him.
Who the f
are you?
Now, notice a few key differences here. In this universe, the Peacemaker uniform shows the dove flying upwards, ascending into success, while his normal uniform shows the dove falling like it's just been shot out of the sky. Now, later we see a beat-up version of Peacemaker wearing this costume in the Pocket Dimension Laboratory, but this could be our Peacemaker wearing the uniform of his other self. I also wonder if they're going to use this multiversal stuff to make fun of, or at least acknowledge, how our version of Peacemaker is kind of from two different universes. Like maybe one of them says, well, I met Aquaman, and then Chris says, who the is Aquaman? I was kind of shocked that there was any multiversal crossover in this trailer. Like after the poor reception of The Flash and the lagging performance of the Multiverse Saga, fans have proven that we're not like super keen on seeing the same exact IP reinvented over and over. But again, if James Gunn is looking for a clean slate, then I think he has to acknowledge that something is at least different in Season 2 than it was in Season 1. Well guys, what did you think of the Peacemaker trailer? Let me know your thoughts down in the comments below, or at me on Twitter, or in our free to join Discord server. And if it's your first time here, please subscribe and smash that bell for alerts. For ScreenCrush, I'm Ryan Airy.